Welcome to the Dunn and All Show. What's happening? What's happening, everybody? Everybody. Hello, hello. Today is Tuesday, August the 2nd. I'm making my regular appearances on the Dunn and All Show. So we starting to get back to some type of normalcy all over again. Hoping you guys are having a great week. And today on the Dunn and All Show, I wanted to make sure that I stepped into uh, my official role, really mainly putting on my city councilman hat. Wear many hats, and today is you putting on the city councilman hat. It's a lot of things I want to talk about in relation to what's going on with the city of Pleasant Grove. We got a lot of updates and things going on. So right now I'm streaming on Facebook. I'm streaming on YouTube, and I'm also streaming on my Councilman Kevin KD Dunn platform. So for those that don't know it, my name is KD Dunn. I'm actually also a city councilman for the city of Pleasant Grove. And so this right here, I do what's called Coffee with KD segments. In these particular segments, we talk about different updates and things that's going on with the city. And this is the moment where we really just kind of hash those things out, giving some updates. So first of all, I want to give a shout out to our mayor, and city council members. Man, we're really making some significant progress with a lot of things that we're working on within the city of Pleasant Grove. And for the people that don't know where Pleasant Grove is at, and you still think that Pleasant Grove is this distant, far land, it's not. It's centrally located within the Birmingham metro area. We are a bedroom community. We're not off the beaten path, as some may say. We are a quiet community, and but we are a tight knit community. We have a lot of things going on as it relates to changes that are coming up in our city. For those that do not know or did not know, we had a council member actually resign, Councilor Hatfield. For those that did not or may not have a chance to meet Mr. Hatfield, man, he was a great guy. To my knowledge, I think he actually is moving or has moved outside of the city of Pleasant Grove, but man, a great guy. Spoke from the heart. He was very passionate about the city of Pleasant Grove. And not only that, his actions were very intentional. He When he spoke, you can tell that it was very genuine and very heartfelt. I hate to see him go, because he's definitely a tremendous asset to the city of Pleasant Grove. But I understand that that he had to make some personal moves, so I definitely wish him the best. With that being said, we actually did interviews for his replacement. We had three candidates that interviewed yesterday, and I can tell you now that those candidates were outstanding. I actually was wondering, what was going to be the outcome, and were we going to have people that were not meeting the benchmark of what we expected. However, all three candidates that we interviewed were very well spoken. They had amazing backgrounds, and whether they're selected to fill the city council vacancy or not, they definitely can still be an asset to the city by actually contributing to so many different voids that we are needing and wanting to fill. Whether it's with grant writing, whether it's concerning different things that's going on in the city, whether it's different events, whether it's different issues that are coming about, whether it relates to public relations. It's a lot of things, but these three candidates were amazing. to where I thought that I would be able to come with my decision on who I picked at the end of the interviews that took place on yesterday. But I really wasn't, because again, they were some amazing candidates. We're gonna have a meeting on next week, uh, Tuesday. I gotta look at my notes, but we're gonna have a meeting. Let's see, what did my notes say? Actually, yeah, we're gonna have a meeting on the 9th. It's gonna be next week, where we're going to officially go ahead and vote on the member that's actually going to be selected. And with that being said, I'm expecting to have whoever we select to be sworn in by the next city council meeting. Because with that being said, you got budgets and things that are coming up. Now, as it relates to a budget, you know, Pleasant Grove has approximately a $6 million operating budget. We've expensed certain things that were major purchases, such as fire trucks, using American Rescue dollars, money. To which I was just informed yesterday that we received another $1.1 million that came in from the American Rescue funds. And we're going to have upcoming meetings to where we can discuss what we're going to do with those funds, because we have until 2024 to go ahead and have those funds listed with whatever they were spent on. Well, we have until April 2023 to go ahead and have those funds allocated. We have a budget meeting coming up in, hopefully, actually, we'll be having our budget meetings actually starting hopefully in September, to where we can hopefully have the budget finalized by October, if not November. So I say there's a lot of things going on, and that's why it was such a great thing to speak with those candidates for the city councilor vacancy yesterday, because they brought up some interesting things, and really it kind of helped re-energize some of the things that I was thinking about. But we had new topics that came up that we needed to discuss and needed to handle, to where some things may have forgotten about, because even though we move forward with streaming the meetings, being more visual as far as on social media, one of the things that I know that we brought up and we actually forgot to actually follow up on it again was the newsletter. A lot of people actually like the newsletter. I like the newsletter too, but we were looking at it from a standpoint of efficiency, because we know a lot of people threw them away. And but what we didn't want to do, we didn't want to put everybody in the same pot per se, and saying since certain people throw them away, we don't want to put them out. Uh, what we wanted it to go to is to have it on a sign up basis, to where people actually want a newsletter. They can sign up and get the newsletter and find out what's going on within the city, find out about people's birthdays. Councilor Lawson's having her birthday coming up this month, so happy early birthday to her. So not just our council, our other elected officials, but we're talking about other people in the community. It's kind of good to see, people's birthdays or anniversaries, major achievements. It's one thing to have that thing in the digital format, but it's just something about holding that piece of paper. Holding that piece of paper, for those that are my avid readers, is something different when you're reading a book versus when you're reading something on your iPad. It's totally different. It's just something about having that paper between your fingers and you're turning a page, just turning a page. For me, it is. It's something how my mind gravitates toward the material, how I'm going to receive it. Because we all learn differently. We all have different learning formats. So I want to thank those candidates that interviewed yesterday for bringing that up, because that was actually a great point. And speaking of that, if you are one of those that would like to see the newsletter um, become a viable option back in the written format, on paper, and you want to receive it via mail, or you want to have it accessible where you can pick it up, I'm thinking it'll probably be more feasible if you actually say, "Hey, I want it mail." and put your email, putting your actual physical PG address and getting it mailed to you. I'm assuming those may come out probably more quarterly. I think that probably be a better way of doing it because we'll be able to have a great amount of information that we're able to put actually into each one of the newsletters. And if we need to increase the output rate of the newsletter, we can go ahead and do so with certain applicable updates that may be more time sensitive. So we're just trying to make sure that we cater towards our citizens, and so people are knowing what's going on. Um, and all of that, you guys make sure you come to your city council meetings. We've got people that they complain, and whether you live in the city of Pleasant Grove, or whether you live in Birmingham, or whether you live in Bessemer, or any other of the surrounding cities, Homewood, Vestavia, Mount Brook, it really doesn't matter. Make sure you participate in your city government because if you're not being made aware of what's going on, or you feel like that you did not know what's going on, and you have to accept a portion of the blame on yourself because you chose not to participate in the meetings. You wondering why this sign is up. You wondering why this didn't go on, why this happened, why this didn't happen, and you're feeling left out. But the meetings that are being held are public meetings, so there's no such thing as being left out. We don't leave anybody out. We don't leave anybody behind. Um, all the meetings are very transparent. People can participate not only in the actual city council meeting, and at the end they have a chance to where the floor is open and they can do a Q&A different session, or express their concerns. But also, our pre-council meeting is open to the public as well. Now, when the pre-council meetings, that does not mean that you can ask questions or anything of that nature. Pre-council meetings are held because that's where council members and the mayor is getting together to discuss information that um is not vital to the meeting. It can help speed up the meeting, the actual city council meeting itself, the official city council meeting. So it helps expedite that and brings up certain things, and maybe gives us a chance to prepare on a rebuttal or something like that. Say, hey, you know, this here is coming up, blah blah blah. This citizen had this concern, and maybe we can already have the responses already, together and squared away. But that's the purpose of that. To the people that use social media as the primary and only means of communicating with your elected officials, that's it's improper. It's not efficient, because a lot of us have different schedules. We may not get the alert, um, and even if you inbox us, give us a moment to respond. One, and then two, if we've already talked about certain things that you want to see going on, we'll update you. Now, with that being said, if you're not getting the updates to where you feel like it was in your certain time span, if it's time sensitive, that's different. But as with a lot of things, when we're getting jobs done within the city, it's bigger than us. So it takes other entities, other parties that's involved in order to make official decisions, or in order to get a certain result, whether we're planning an event, whether we're trying to do whatever it is that we're trying to do and get together. We cannot do that independently. I, Councilor Dunn, cannot make a final executive decision to do certain official things within the city without other members signing off on it, the mayor signing off on it, or whatever group or affiliation that I'm working with co-signing on it. And to where we all can come to an agreement on what we're trying to do collectively. So be patient. It's not like things can just happen like that. That's a lot of things that go on. There's a lot of moving pieces. Um, but there are certain things that can be expedited. I'm gonna give you a good example. I make notes at every city council meeting, and when I make notes, they're relevant to the different concerns that came out or different concerns I feel like we need to address because citizens have made me aware. If a light is out, and you informed us that a light was out, you inform City Hall, whoever it is that you tried to contact. You weren't able to reach them. You inbox me, cool. I'm gonna bring it up at the city council meeting. I'm gonna make sure that the mayor knows and whoever else is more responsible. Those are things that can be taken care of in a quick, more efficient manner. I mean, that's us just telling such and such as one person to go ahead and handle that. That's quick. Um, Holes in the road. Well, that either can be dealt with our public work, or that will go even further to be dealt with upon the road being paved. Got different paving projects that are going on. Um, Even right now, different sections of the city are being paved. So those are the things that either take planning and take the work of third parties, and other things such as a light, or a stop sign that's knocked down, or speed limit sign that's knocked down and need to be put back up. Those are things that are quicker that we can get taken care of. But other projects, they may require, uh, what's the best way to say this? That may require assistance from those from a higher authority or a separate group that we have to work with. We have to wait on them to contact us so we can do it and do the job and do it right. Um, I have some ladies that sent me an inbox about doing a prayer visual. I know my wife has been in contact with them because it seemed like the ladies really got together, and I told my wife what the best way to handle that. Um, and I'll say this, even on the official format on the councilman page right now, and even on the my podcast show, if you're doing anything that's on school grounds, even though you say, "Hey, I'm a taxpayer, I can come," if I want to pray for these kids, da da da, I can. You can, but as I learned, uh, I got a pass the first time that I did it. I did not know I needed to get certain permission. Um, the school officials don't have a problem with us, praying for the kids. And again, that's what we should do: band together as a community, come together, pray for our youth. But we just have to make sure that we do our notifications and slash requests so they'll know that we're on the grounds. And the main reason why that happens, or needs to happen, is because in the event that something happens, there's a liability standard. And we must be aware of certain liabilities that are applicable to these certain situations. If somebody gets hurt, if an accident happens, somebody falls, all of these things here uh, have to occur so everybody's on the same page if something happens. And I can guarantee you there's a large percentage of the time where you're going to get the okay, you're going to get the yes. You just have to make, that notification. Um, and speaking of the youth and praying for our youth, I want to send a big thanks out to uh, Courtney. I can remember, I'm sorry, I cannot remember your last name, but he's the assistant principal at Pleasant Grove Elementary School. And also one of our citizens of Victoria for donating these ties to the my mentoring program. For those that don't know, I got a mentoring program that I do. It's called Ties to Success. Um, Started out a lot of stuff I was doing over here in Pleasant Grove, and of course, understanding the so from the elementary school to the high school. But then it kind of spun and started going around, even Hueytown, even the Boys and Girls Club in Hueytown, the Boys and Girls Club in Warrior, um, and other different groups. So it just really just has taken steam, taken flight. And I want to give a major thank to the Toy Thornton. For those that don't know, Toy is actually um, one of the newscasters. Actually, does the traffic for Fox 6. He got evidently he received an alert from somebody in the community that mentioned my program, Ties to Success, along with the Man Project Youth Program, as far as what we do. And he orchestrated a tie drive, tie it up Birmingham or tie it up Alabama, I think was the name of it. But it was a tie drive, and it went on through pretty much the summer months. I think it went on from like June to end of July. We collected over 1,100 ties that were collected, and we use these ties to not only show these boys, and the target population is grades 7 through 12, and they're going to be boys. That's what the mentoring program does, and we not only show them how to tie a tie, but we teach them what is ties to success, like how to be successful. Sometimes we become so naive and we're so ignorant and we're so blind, and we use our own upbringing as a means to classify everybody else's living situation, how they grew up. You say, well, I had my mother, my father, and I had food in the refrigerator, and our house. We stayed in the house, and light stayed on, and some of us that had that upbringing and so thankful, but we forget that everybody does not share that same story of growing up, and I feel those that of us that have been blessed, that have had opportunity, that have had the more positive outcome of life, it's up to us to come back and give back to those that do not have those opportunities. I feel like if you're blessed, then you need to be a blessing back to others, and that's one of the main reasons why I do what I do. I know even being a city councilman can be one of those thankless jobs because people don't realize, like, we're not big like Birmingham or even some of these other cities that got administrative assistants and got these different secretaries and different teams. And let me put it to you in the most simplest way. I'm my administrative assistant. I'm my maintenance person. I'm my IT guy. I'm my videographer. Uh, I'm my logistical planner. My wife and I are the logistical planning team with volunteers. Um, I am the it just keep adding it up. I mean, I I do all that. I don't We don't have a team. We don't have these financial resources, or the city's not even set up for us to have all these other different groups or people that we hire on. But we do these things. Um Not for the money, because we barely get paid anything. We do this because we love the city, and we want to make sure that we're able to put our city in the best position that we can to succeed and stay a great city and become even a better city. So keep that those things there in mind. Whether we do so many things, whether we're mentoring, whether we're going to these different schools, and this is why I try to get people to realize also, pay attention to that. Pay attention to that, because there's no election coming up for us right now. Not this year, not next year, even not even the year after that. I believe in putting the work in between those time periods. So let the work that that person has done, whether they're running for reelection or whether they're running for whatever else, let the work they've done speak for them during that time period. If the only thing that you see or chose to see or had the opportunity to see is when somebody was running for a position, then do your homework, do your research. We had people that interviewed for the city council vacancy that I know who showed up to meetings. I know who did not show up to meetings. So when they were applying for this vacancy that we had, for me, that was a critical point. I'm looking at those that have already been active in their government, their local government sector. I'm looking at that. I don't pay as much attention to those that want to come in now that we have a vacancy, but we really hadn't seen them play a part in the city with different things that we've had going on, different boards, different volunteer opportunities. I pay attention to that. And that's why I say, even if you don't get selected, people, you don't need a title in order to have an impact. You don't need a title in order to have an impact on your city, your community, your block, or anything. There's no title required. Only thing that is required is your effort and your dedication. Can change everything. Everything. So keep that in mind, please, please. Now, while we talking about effort and dedication, on the 13th of August, we're going to be having our Valley Creek cleanup. What greater opportunity it is to make your city look better than participating in cleanup? Okay, this is done every year. This is going to be on a Saturday, like it always is. It's going to be from 8:30 to 11 a.m. 8:30 to 11 a.m. And we're gonna have the gloves that you're gonna need. We're gonna have the vest so you don't get hit by a car. We're gonna have police escorting us from spot to spot. As we're picking up. So come out with us. We're gonna be meeting at City Hall. That's where we always meet up at 8:30. We'll be starting. But get there if you can, roughly around 8 o'clock. We'll give you a nice, cool Valley Creek cleanup T-shirt, and all that stuff. So we got a list of different sponsors that have helped, make this happen for us. There's a host of them, from U.S. Pipe to Bridgestone to seems like Kelly Blue Book on here, Jefferson County Department of Health, Home Depot, all of that. There's going to be a lot of different opportunities that come up in the city for us to become active. We have the back to school bash that's coming up, if I'm not mistaken, this Thursday. It's going to be at Pleasant Grove High School. It's going to have food trucks out there, and it's going to be a fun, festive type thing. So come out there. This is where you really get your kids pumped up, amped up about school starting. They get to see their friends, they get to fellowship, have some fun, eat some good food. So make sure you come out. It's going to be this Thursday. I know as soon as you guys get off work, you guys that get off work at 5 o'clock, just come on down. Just come on down. And if I'm not mistaken, I think it's going to be like from 6 to 8, or roughly around that time. I'm not definitely on the time, but I just know it's going to be that evening. That's why I said, if you get up at 5 o'clock, come on down there. And just come on out. It's gonna be at the high school. It's gonna be this Thursday, the back to school bash. You should see some digital flyers on social media. There also are some posted throughout the city as well. And there's gonna be another back to school event. Trying to actually make sure that I get all my notes together. My wife does a pretty good job with keeping me updated with these different events that we're having. So we got our different routes set up as to where we're going to be. But okay, so I do see the notes. So it's going to be on the 4th, which is going to be on Thursday. Pleasant Grove High School back to school bash is going to be from 5 to 8. So I was close enough. I said 6 to 8. It's going to be from 5 to 8. The back to school bash. So make sure you come out. Please, please make sure you come out. And if I'm not mistaken, there's going to be another event sponsored by one of our former students. Let me go to my notes on this. One of our Pleasant Grove graduates, is at Kentucky, actually playing football, doing pretty good. I'm gonna go to my notes what I got on this. My wife actually. All right, so it's gonna be a back to school rally. It's gonna be on the 7th, and the 7th is on a Sunday. At Pleasant Grove Sports Complex. I'm gonna make sure I get those times up. So got a lot of events going on. That's just this week alone. And if you've been staying in tune with other events that we talked about at different city council meetings, I know Councilor Lawson is working on putting together a jazz fest. She's working on different planning and logistics with that, along with funding for that event. And I'm not sure what month it's going to be done, but I just know she's working on that. Of course, you know that we do. When I say we, me and my wife and our volunteer team do the fall festival every year, and that falls roughly within the third week of October. The first time we did it was in 2020. I can tell you that the standout, I mean, the turnout was amazing. 2021, we literally shut the city down. People couldn't even get through the city, so we're thinking of a different logistical model for this next one. So I got to get some assistance on this location and venue setup so we can make sure that people can safely come in and out to the event. It was packed last year. We had some other issues that we had to get resolved at with location, but we worked our way through it. But it was a huge turnout even last year. To me, when I put my drone up in the sky, it looked like a mini, like a classic. Like if anybody goes to Birmingham, Magic City Classic, going down Third Avenue, Vesper Road, or coming down Greymont. You remember what that traffic looks like? That's what it looked like in Pleasant Grove, man. It was crazy. Not only that, it was just great to see the community turn out, man, just to have fun. And I think this is another thing with the city of Pleasant Grove, with us as citizens. We take we take even our safety for granted because think about it. I on the police end, when I put on that uniform, I put wear that badge. I've seen all these different community events get together, and fighting happens, shootings, all this happens. When does that happen in Pleasant Grove? Hasn't. It hasn't. We actually have a very safe community compared to other ones far. By far, we have a very safe community to where we actually can get together and we actually can fellowship without youth getting together and fighting, without shots being fired. I mean, we literally take that for granted, but that's how safe our city is. We want to continue to keep our city safe. Um, and and those that try to make it become anything other than that, we'll make it uncomfortable for those to be here, so we can keep the people here that want to be here. We want. I don't know about anybody else and everybody else, but I know when I come home, I like to come home to a quiet neighborhood. I don't want to come home to a neighborhood to where your neighbors from wherever else got music blasting up and you trying to sleep or you trying to relax. All that stuff. And I know people have different little neighbor issues and they're getting those resolved and things of that nature. But again, when you compare that to other surrounding cities, we do not have that. We don't even have to deal with those trauma filled issues like other communities do. So I appreciate that. And I don't take it for granted. Because I can tell you this, I would have never moved to PG and I never would have still be living here in PG had that been going on. I've been policing for almost 16 years. There are no way in hell I'm coming home to police again. Yeah, I said it. I'm very blunt and passionate about that. There's no way. There's no way. So we want to make sure we keep our communities safe. We want to make sure that we keep our communities clean. Okay, safety, cleanliness. Those two things are paramount to me, and that's the way I want to keep our community going and keep our community moving forward. So hopefully y'all, if anybody missed in the beginning portions of this whole podcast, I'm dual streaming. I'm going through my podcast, done all show, and I'm also doing coffee with KD on my councilman page. So I'm really kind of killing two birds with one stone. because I think it's applicable on both different platforms. So if you miss anything that I discussed, go ahead and just rewind the video. By the time I close it out, just rewind it and catch back up. And you'll be able to see what we're talking about. You'll be able to see what you possibly even missed. But in a nutshell, guys, I want you guys to be more proactive. I want you to be more active in your government. I want you to come to your city council meetings. I want you to know what's going on within your city. Um, and don't just turn out when there's a complaint. Turn out when things are going well. Turn out to participate in your community events. As long as I remain a city council member, I want to do my best to make sure I offer these things to you guys. For those that don't know, I mean, like I say, with the fall festival, I don't ask the city for any money to host that. That's something that I come out of my own pocket and use my own resources and use my company to go ahead and move forward with this. And then I get the help of other different groups and entities to make sure that we can give that to you guys, because I know prior to me becoming a city council member, I know that was not going on. They had different trunk or treats. The churches were putting certain events on, and then the support that the church was initially receiving years ago was not occurring. We have a different Pleasant Grove than what we had pre tornado 10 years ago. That tornado tore up a lot of our city. A lot of people left after that. But the great thing about it is we're having a huge resurgence. We're having a huge influx of people coming back to the city. More families are coming in. And I don't know about everybody else, but I love a diverse community. Um, I know some people are hell bent on saying they want it to be one way or want it to be another. I like things to be as balanced as possible, because if you are a strict conservative and the only thing that you see are conservative ways, then you're blind and you're ignorant. If you are a strict liberal and the only thing you see are strict liberal ways, then you're blind and you're ignorant. It goes for both sides. Y'all notice that I cut them both equally, because you need to be able to see this thing from a broad perspective, and you need to be able to understand both ends of the spectrum. You can't just see it just from one view from this lens. You have to alter your point of view. You have to alter your perspective. You have to take into account other things that can contribute to the conversation, and not just thinking that your thoughts are the end all of everything. It just should not be that way. So we need to be more open to a dialogue that is more inclusive of everybody. I want to see my community be exactly that. I don't want to see it just go predominantly one side, predominantly this other side. I want it to be a community to where everybody feel like they're safe. I want a community to where everybody feel like they're welcome. Okay, as long as you come here with the right intentions. Now, I'm not welcoming any of the criminal element. I'm not welcoming any of the negative element. I'm not opening up the doors for you. You may want to go ahead and skirt somewhere else. I'm not opening up any of those doors. But I'm opening up the doors for positivity. I'm opening up the doors for increase. I'm opening up the doors for success. Those are the doors I'm opening. And to where each door, each pathway that is created is going to be a positive pathway towards success and making our community better. But I cannot do this on the individual level. We have to do this collectively as a community, guys. You know, when your next elections happen, whatever direction they may go in, um, I want it. I want everybody to feel included, man. I can't. Gosh, like I moved to Pleasant Grove to for diversity, not lack thereof. I brought my kids to this community for diversity, not lack thereof. I'm sorry if people feel like, well, I don't want to live in this type of community to where these type of people existed. I didn't. I'm being real with you. I didn't. That never was my thought. I'm gonna be real. I never wanted to move in a community where it was just only black people. I never wanted to move in a community where there was only white people. I never wanted to move in a community that was only Hispanic people. I wanted to move in a community that was actually exactly what this American flag was supposed to stand for, a melting pot of everybody being welcome of different cultures, different nationalities, and everybody coming together. I'm sorry. That's what I always wanted because that's when we actually learn about one another. We learn different food, we learn different heritage, we learn different cultures. That's how we actually get together. That's what this flag is supposed to be about. That's what our American flag is supposed to be about. Not about this particular way only. I didn't name a particular way, but you guys can run that in whatever direction you want to run it in. That's not what our country is built upon. It's not supposed to be what it's built upon. It's supposed to be built upon everybody being welcome, people being treated equally, people being treated fairly, and due process being executed accordingly, efficiently, and effectively. Okay? I'll leave that rest of the portion alone. Okay? I thank you guys for tuning in today. Again, recap this video. If you want, you can play it back. I ask you to share the video if you can. So those that live in Pleasant Grove that know what's going on, share this video. Share it to your different platforms. Invite people to come like my city councilman page. Invite them to watch the live streaming on our city page. Invite them to become more active in their city government. Follow me on social media. I can guarantee the things that I post are going to be uplifting, they're going to be funny, or they're going to be informative, or they're going to be family oriented. I don't do any of the negative posts. I don't participate in all the sharing of drama and all this other stuff. I post things that may be intriguing to your mind, may motivate you, may encourage you, or may be a blessing to you. That's the line I try to stick to. Okay. So I thank you guys for being a part of today, listening to today, being part of the show, being part of the podcast, and continues to be the change that you want to see in your neighborhood and be in your community, because the change doesn't begin with everybody else. The change begins with you. I love y'all. Until next time, we'll talk and we'll see each other again. Dunn out.